Disclaimer: this audiobook has been generated using AI, which means there may be occasional mispronunciations, especially with Korean names. AI sometimes pronounces certain words differently, and while it does its best to convey emotion, there are moments where the depth of a conversation may not be fully captured. I hope you, as listeners, will be understanding and allow your imagination to fill in the emotions and intensity of the dialogues. Your engagement and interpretation will bring the story to life in ways AI cannot. This is a work of fan fiction. The characters portrayed in this story are purely fictional and are not related to any real-life events or personalities. This story is created for entertainment purposes only, and nothing should be taken as a reflection of the real lives of BTS members, any other K-pop idols, celebrities, or anyone else referenced. Everything in this audiobook is a product of imagination, so please enjoy it as a creative and fictional experience. There's no need to take it too seriously. Just sit back, relax, and immerse yourself in the story. I'm sorry for this long disclaimer, but it's important for me to make everything clear. Thank you for understanding, and I hope you enjoy the audiobook.
Troublemaker, Part 1. The sun was bright and shining, but it was nothing compared to the radiant smile on Taehyung's face. His grip on his bag tightened as excitement bubbled inside him. This was the happiest day of his life. His heartbeat was quick, but in a way that made him feel alive. Standing at the railway station of the small village he had always called home, he took a deep breath. But not anymore. Today he was leaving, running away, with the one person he admired most, the one he loved. Taehyung, a 17-year-old boy from the quiet countryside village called Sunflower Land, had been raised with love and care, not just by his parents, but by the entire village. He was the brightest, most beloved person in the community, but none of that mattered now. My life is going to be so much better, he whispered, eyes fixed on the man at the ticket counter. Rick, the investor who had come to their village to fund the new school project 6 months ago. In Taehyung's eyes, he was the kindest, most generous person in the world, someone who understood him, who made him feel special. The day they met, Taehyung had seen in Rick everything he ever wanted in a person: warmth, wisdom, and affection. They had fallen in love. Their meetings had been secret, hidden away in quiet corners of the village, while the school construction was continuing. But then, suddenly, the project was halted, and Rick had to return to the city. The thought of losing him had shattered Taehyung's heart. But Rick had given him a choice: come with him. They would build a life together in the city. Seoul, where people go to make their dreams come true, is what Taehyung had heard all his life. Rick had promised him a job, a good position in his own office, and most importantly, marriage. He will marry Taehyung, and they will be together forever. Taehyung had hesitated at first. Leaving home, leaving his parents, it felt wrong. But Rick had gently reminded him of his father's struggles. The burden of the bank loan, his father is struggling to pay, and one day it will take everything away. If Taehyung left, he could return one day with money, and his parents would forgive him, they would accept him. And so, Taehyung had believed every word Rick said. Lost in his daydreams of the future, he barely noticed when Rick walked up to him. Hello, Rick snapped his fingers in front of Taehyung's face, a teasing smirk playing on his lips. Where did you go? Taehyung blinked, cheeks turning pink. Nowhere. Just then, the train arrived. They settled into their compartment, a private chamber. Rick stowed their bags away before turning to find Taehyung sitting stiffly beside the window, anxiety written all over his face. Hey, what's wrong? Rick asked, kneeling in front of him and taking his hands. Taehyung looked up, his expression troubled. I don't feel right, Hyung. I have never been this far from Oma and Appa before. Going this far without them, it just doesn't feel right, he admitted nervously. Rick sighed. Taehyung, I've told you so many times, don't think like that. Why do you keep feeling this way? Don't you trust me? I do, Taehyung whispered. Then what's the problem? Rick's expression darkened just slightly, the pressure in his voice making Taehyung swallow hard. Rick tilted his head, his voice softening. Look at me. Taehyung met his gaze hesitantly. Everyone has to move forward. It's for a better life, Rick coaxed. You left a letter for your parents, right? Taehyung nodded. And you didn't mention my name, right? I wrote what you asked me to write. A slow smile spread across Rick's lips. Good, now come on, smile. This is the start of our new life. Despite the weight in his chest, Taehyung forced a small smile. Did you bring your mother's jewelry box? Rick asked casually. Taehyung nodded, glancing at the small bag beside him. Rick's smile widened. Good boy. He ruffled Taehyung's hair, making the younger boy blush. Then, without hesitation, Rick leaned in. Taehyung immediately leaned back, eyes widening. No, Rick's smile twitched, but he masked his irritation quickly. Rolling his eyes, he chuckled. Come on, Tae, we've never kissed. Let's make this our first. Taehyung shook his head, flustered. Not now, it's bad. You can kiss me on our wedding day. For a brief moment, Rick's eyes darkened, but he forced another smile. Of course, I will. Then, shifting his tone, he reached out. Here, give me the jewelry box. I'll keep it safe. The world is full of bad people. You know, without hesitation, Taehyung pulled the antique wooden box from his bag, which is filled with his mother's jewelry, and handed it over. Rick took it, placing it securely in his own bag, before settling into the seat opposite Taehyung. The train jolted, beginning its journey forward. Taehyung smiled weakly at Rick, but as the village disappeared behind them, an uneasy feeling twisted in his stomach. Something still didn't feel right, but he pushed it aside. After all, Rick had promised him a better future, right? Hey, young man, hey, wake up. Taehyung stirred at the light tapping on his hand, his eyelids fluttering open. His vision was blurry from sleep, but as it cleared, he found an unfamiliar man staring at him, a man nearly his father's age. His heart jumped in his chest. Taehyung screamed. Scrambling backward, the man jerked his hand back in alarm. Ah, what? He exclaimed. Who are you? Taehyung stammered, his breath shaky. His wide eyes darted around the compartment, searching for Rick, but there was no sign of him. The man sighed, adjusting his uniform. Calm down, kid, you scared me. Then, as if noticing something strange, he frowned. Why are you still on this train? Taehyung blinked in confusion. I'm going to Seoul with my boyfriend. The man gave him a puzzled look. This is Seoul, my boy. The train stopped here an hour ago, and there's no one with you. Taehyung froze. No one with him. The man didn't wait for a response. I don't have time for this. Get off the train, it's going in for maintenance. With that, the ticket master walked away, leaving Taehyung sitting there in stunned silence. His body felt cold. He turned, looking at the seat next to him. No bags, no sign that Rick had ever been here. Only his own small bag remained, the one with a few clothes and some documents. Where did he go? He whispered, his voice barely audible. Stepping off the train, Taehyung's eyes widened at the sight before him. The city. For the first time in his life, he was seeing it, not on a television screen, not through a phone, but right in front of him. The towering buildings, the neon lights, the distant sound of car horns, it was all overwhelming, but none of it mattered. Hyung, his voice was shaky as he scanned the empty platform. Rick Hyung, his fingers clutched at the strap of his bag as an anxious knot tightened in his chest. Where was he? Taehyung dug through his bag. Searching for his phone, his heartbeat quickened. It wasn't there. Panic gripped him. Where is he? He whispered, his throat tightening. Hyung, Rick, Hyung. Desperation set in. He ran across the platform, peering into waiting areas, looking everywhere, calling out Rick's name over and over again. But no one answered. No one even looked at him. Time passed, he didn't know how long. His legs grew tired, his throat felt dry. He collapsed onto a bench, wrapping his arms around his only bag, trying to steady his breathing. Taehyung mind holding for the hope asterisk Rick must have gone somewhere. Maybe he had errands to run. Maybe he was coming back. Yes, that had to be it. So he waited and waited. People came and went, their lives moving forward. Taehyung's eyes followed every man who passed by, hoping, praying that one of them would be Rick. But none of them were. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the night swallowed the station in a blanket of artificial lights. The once busy platform was now eerily quiet. His stomach growled. Only then did he remember the small envelope tucked into his bag, his New Year's money from his grandmother. His fingers trembled as he pulled it out. At least he could buy food. Taehyung approached a small food stall, his voice hesitant. Hello, uncle. Can I have that sandwich, please? The vendor, a middle-aged man, looked at him oddly. He didn't speak, just stared, his gaze lingering too long on Taehyung's face. Something about the way the man's eyes raked over him made Taehyung's skin crawl. Still, he waited. The man finally handed him the sandwich. But as Taehyung reached out with the money, the man's fingers brushed against his hand. Not an accidental touch, a deliberate, lingering stroke. Taehyung shivered. His grip on the sandwich tightened, and he quickly snatched his hand away. But he said nothing. Brushing the discomfort aside, he returned to the station, sitting in the same spot. Biting into his sandwich, he forced himself to chew. Rick would come back, he had to. Right. Hours passed. Midnight arrived. The cold seeped into his bones, his thin sweater doing little to shield him. His small frame trembled as he hugged his bag, his fingers numb. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. Rick had promised him a new life, a future. Then why was he alone? As he curled in on himself, his body shaking from both exhaustion and fear, a shadow loomed over him. "Hey, mister." Taehyung flinched at the sudden voice. A hand rested on his shoulder, and he turned to see a man standing beside him. A stranger. Something about him felt off. His smile was too wide, his eyes too sharp. "Are you alone?" the man asked, his voice dripping with something unidentifiable. Taehyung's gut twisted. He stood up abruptly, stepping away. The man followed. "Hey, don't run. Come with me. You won't be alone anymore." Taehyung's breathing turned shallow. His legs moved faster. What did you expect from a 17-year-old teenager who is too good for this cruel world? The man's footsteps quickened behind him. His heart pounded, just as panic took over. He bumped into someone, a different man. "Hey, are you okay?" Taehyung's wide, terrified eyes met a softer gaze. The new man was dressed neatly, his voice calm. Taehyung clung to the sense of normalcy in his voice. That man," he pointed shakily. "He was following me." The man turned, his eyes narrowing. "Hey, what's your problem?" The moment he was confronted, the creepy man turned and ran. Taehyung exhaled shakily, his legs barely holding him up. The man beside him smiled. "See, you have to be strong." Taehyung bowed deeply, 90 degrees, his upbringing showing. "Thank you for your kindness." The man blinked in surprise. "Whoa, you don't have to bow like that." He laughed. Taehyung straightened slowly. "I'm Bugum." The man introduced himself. "My name is Taehyung. What are you doing here alone?" Taehyung hesitated. "I'm waiting for my boyfriend. We were supposed to live together, but I can't find him." Bugum frowned. "You're lost." Taehyung nodded, exhaustion weighing heavily on him. Bugum sighed. "It's too late for you to be out here alone. It's not safe. I can take you to the police station." Taehyung didn't argue. He was too tired to think, too drained to resist. So he agreed and went with the person.
To be continued. Next part will be uploaded tomorrow. Don't forget to comment your thoughts.